Hello again, everybody. This is another book review from the Historical Fiction Company, our editorial reviews. And if you ever would like to have your own historical novel editorially reviewed by our review staff, you can submit to the link in the description. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you can stay tuned to all our book reviews. Previous readers of Ranger's Storm of War by Timothy Ashby will already be acquainted with the never dull life and times of Alexander Maynard Charteris, or Chart as he is commonly known. They will be delighted to welcome him back in this, his latest outing. In Desperate Valor, there is again never a dull moment for Chart, and with a strong hint of a third book to come in the ending. Here, Ashby ticks all the necessary boxes with the swashbuckling hero himself, a desperate and beautiful woman in distress, a dedicated group of loyal and trustworthy friends, and an implacable villain and sworn enemy. Desperate Valor contains all the necessary ingredients of a successful adventure story in the style of great masters of the genre such as The Kidnapped of Robert Louis Stevenson. It also needs to be said that Ashby displays a truly meticulous eye for the facts and the details of a military campaign, and possesses the ability to take these unadulterated facts and transform them into a gripping narrative. For those unaware of Chart's previous and highly varied life, Ashby brings us up to speed early on. Chart is the only son of an English baronet and a black Carib slave who died in childbirth on his plantation in the West Indian island of Grenada. Taken to England by his father, he is raised in both London and Leicestershire, an idyllic existence as a young aristocrat until a brutal awakening to reality in Westminster School, which makes Tom Brown's school days seem almost like a rest cure. His father is murdered by Chart's vicious cousin, who also makes a slave of him, so that on that same Grenada plantation, before hostilities and a vicious conflict between the French and the British result in his liberation and a considerable improvement in his fortunes. To add further sauce to the dish, Chart is alerted to the possible existence in New Orleans of an old and bitter enemy. Readers of the previous book, Ranger, will be fully aware of the truly evil Julien Fedon, a former revolutionary general on the island of Grenada and a war criminal and mass murderer with a high price on his head, dead or alive. The action of Desperate Valor is constant and thrilling, and readers will at no point feel that they've been shortchanged. In the course of it, Chart is obliged to join a locally raised militia, splendidly named Daquin's Battalion of Freemen of Color. Becoming a trusted member of this organization allows Chart to carry out reconnaissance and spying missions, and to locate the man now calling himself Jacques Fouché on a small slave-manned plantation near New Orleans. It also enabled him to set out on a campaign of wooing the delectable Jocasta, whilst Story sets out about attempting to foment insurrection among the black slave population. Both Chart and Jocasta are cautious in their growing relationship. Perhaps inevitably, the British spy ring is uncovered. Chart and Story are forced to flee to the British lines and back to the 1st West Indian Regiment afoot, and Jocasta and her young daughter fall into the clutches of the evil Julien Fedon, and a truly unpleasant existence and uncertain future. Ashby's bird-eye view of the whole protracted campaign leading to the ultimate debacle of the final Battle of New Orleans on January the 8th, 1815, after much sparring and disastrous movements for position, by which a time a peace treaty has already been signed in far-off Europe, well, it's simply magisterial. It is not for this reviewer to outline this campaign, for Ashby carries out this task himself with a true skill and flair in a compelling and highly readable account. Chart, however, has two further objectives to fulfill before he can turn his back on the ill-fated Louisiana campaign, even if it means he must commit the crime of desertion and leave his beloved regiment, of which he is so justifiably proud. He must settle his account with Julien Fedon, if indeed he still lived, and he must rescue, if he could, his own particular damsel in distress, Jocasta, the accomplished spy Bagatelle. Timothy Ashby is truly to be congratulated not only in his evocation of an age, but also in the creation of a highly unusual hero for his times. If there are indeed further books to come in this series, it is to be hoped that he can maintain his already impressive high standards. Desperate Valor by Timothy Ashby receives 4.5 stars from the Historical Fiction Company. Again, thank you for tuning in today. Stay tuned for more book reviews coming up this week, and don't forget to click the subscribe button.